Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Vulture Culture Podcast, the only podcast where we could talk about a lot of slop for a long amount of time. I am once again joined by my
Man,
two
this
co-hosts.
episode's.
What?
No, I was trying to start off the bat with a say that again joke. That's one on the say that again meter. I was gonna say this episode's bound to be fantastic, and I was gonna hope Sir would say that again. So
Okay, 3,
Wait, say that again?
4. Yes. I'm here with my two co-hosts, Sirsplaysalot and RoxyReviews. How's it going, everybody? How are you all doing?
Going pretty well. I'm on vacation. Well, as we're recording this.
Nice. That's awesome. I'm glad that you're on vacation. You're gonna have a good time. I know exactly where you're at, and I will not say where because that would be very rude and very disingenuous. I just know that you're on vacation. Like,
you're gonna do a temporary.
what?
You were really gonna hit him with the temporary docks.
Yeah. Temporary dogs. You guys have this amount of time to find them. You better hurry. You guys want to get this episode until probably he came back. Anyways,
By the time this comes out, I won't even be there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I'm actually hoping to have this episode out on a very special day. And that day being
The day First Steps comes out?
No, the anniversary of this movie. Which I think I will miss by
really?
just a couple days. Which would kind of suck, but...
Does that mean that we need to... Does that mean that we need to put Fan 4 Stick... We need to review Fan 4 Stick for its anniversary?
Yeah, because it... Okay, like, I wouldn't do this if it wasn't because... Like, okay. Fantastic Four... Like, the movie we're talking about today is Fantastic Four, by the way. And, like, it came out in 2005. And Fantastic Four, or Fan 4 Stick, came out in 2015. They literally did a... And now we're getting First Steps in the year 2025. Like, that is completely perfect. But, yeah, I thought it was...
You could even say it's fantastic.
Say that again?
Say that again?
Damn it, we both thought of it. Yeah, so this is going to be a very special episode, and believe it or not, I am going to pull out the Wikipedia article, because this is a movie I have been so fucking excited about to talk about ever since we said that we were going to do it. So, let me, I own this movie on DVD, I watch this movie every day, or not every day, like, this is my comfort movie. Anyways, Fantastic Four 005. 255. Let me read off the Wikipedia page real quick. Jesus Christ, can you not load any slower? Excuse me? Fantastic Four, sometimes stylized as Fantastic Four, is a 2005 superhero film based on Marvel Comics superhero team of the same name. Created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, it was directed by Tim Story and released by 20th Century Fox. The film stars Ian Gufford, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, and Michael Chiklis, Julian McMahon, and Kerry Washington. The film follows the origins of the titular team as they learn to come to terms with their newfound abilities following their exposure to cosmic rays. Yeah, so that's basically just the small sum of Fantastic Four. And, you know, weirdly enough, out of all the, like, you know, out of all the things we talked about, aside, like, you know what, we're just going to get into this. This is the first movie, like, this is, like, one of the few movies, I mean, there was a lot of them, but, like, this is, like, one of the first few Marvel movies that isn't connected in some way to the MCU, aside a very specific thing that I will not mention right now. But, I want to know what you all think, because, like...
Is the Doctor's... Oh,
What?
sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Wasn't there like a 1970s? Wasn't there like a 1970s Doctor Strange movie or something?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I mentioned that to you. But I mean, like, but that was a TV movie rather than a like a actual
A
theatrical
theatrical movie.
yeah, which I think is hilarious because believe it or not, this is like since we're talking about this, there has been a lot of MCU movies, like non Marvel related movies that had came out during this time before the MCU, like Spider-Man, the Raimi trilogy, X-Men, which we talked about in an episode going over the first X-Men. Ghost Rider had movies, Blade, Elektra, Punisher, Daredevil. Like they all had like movies before this. So I just want to ask, have any of you guys seen any other non-MCU movies aside what we've already talked about on the podcast? I know we've seen Blade
Yeah.
together. I know we all three seen Blade together. The first Blade. We watched it in a Discord call.
This, does
Uh,
the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy count since it was made apart from the MCU, but then they decided, hey, let's put it in the MCU? And I guess also the Amazing Spider-Man duology.
Yes, no, I'll count that because that was made before the MCU started. And even like yes, Amazing Spider-Man came out afterwards, but we won't talk about that since honestly it just doesn't really need to be talked about like, oh yeah, that came out after the MCU. But like obviously it had no clear inspiration for its own story until later on when they were like, oh no, let's make a Spider-Man cinematic universe, which maybe one day we'll talk about that. Fuck. A Morbius episode when? I don't know. But I was just wondering, have any of you
Oh my
seen...
god, no. I had to watch. Okay. First, I had to watch Morbius twice in one day because Guy thought it'd be funny for April Fools, and then Panther was mad that we watched it before she got in BC, so she forced me to watch it with her a second time.
And do you think it's...
Oh, you poor soul.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, you got a pretty good Marvel movie out of this one, I would say. But I was just going to ask, any other movies do you want to shed light on? Anybody? Any other Marvel...
Specifically the director's cut of Daredevil. That was hilarious.
Is it bad? I need to watch it. Is it, like, actually bad?
I don't know, is Space Daredevil bad? Or...
No, Daredevil's like a good guy. Like, Daredevil's...
No, I meant the movie.
Oh, I never watched the base one. I own both the director's cut and the original of
Okay,
Daredevil.
I don't know what the difference between the two is. I've never seen the original cut.
So what? How good was the director's cut?
It was funny.
Funny bad or funny good?
I guess funny bad. I'm not sure what it was I watched.
The Netflix show is actually really good, from what I've heard. I mean, I've only seen Punisher. I watched only a little bit of Daredevil, but I've seen Punisher, and Punisher was really good. Yeah, there also. I should mention Punisher had like 3 fucking movies before, before the MCU even happened. There was Warzone, which came out like during the time, like it came out in 2008. Then there was The Punisher. Then there was Punisher The Punisher 89, and most of those movies were, from what I've heard, aren't good. Like even I think 2004 Punisher is rated as one of the worst superhero movies ever made. Which, yikes! All I'm gonna say. Okay, well, I guess
Let's talk about a good Marvel movie.
yes, Fantastic Four. So I guess the first thing I'll ask is, what was everybody's expectation before going in to watching it? If we had any experience with it, like what was our experience before watching it again for this episode? As in, first time experiencing, first time watching, whatever, what have you.
I think
We'll start with Sir,
first
then
time
we'll
was...
go down the line.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
I think first time was when I watched the Nostalgia Critics review of it. I didn't really think that much of it till years later. I was like,
oh, sorry.
well, maybe this movie wasn't so bad. Of course, I rewatched it for the podcast, and hey, this movie is actually pretty good.
All right, Roxy.
Okay, so get buckled up because this is gonna be a doozy.
So your first experience.
So my first experience, I was at a friend's house, and I think we were just flipping through channels on the TV, and we saw like the very end of the climax of this movie, where like not even the fight between the Fantastic Four and Victor Von Doom, but the part where Mr. Fantastic sprays water on him. That's literally the only part we saw.
Jesus.
And yeah, so that was odd. I was like, that movie looks cool. Too bad I didn't get to see the rest of it. And then later on, I I had like a time where I was watching all the Honest Trailers videos, if you know those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I know those.
And and the one for The Incredibles said like, it's the good Fantastic Four movie we never got. And so I asked my dad, I was like, are there any good Fantastic Four movies? And he was like, no, they all suck.
Mm.
So I was like, oh man, that kind of sucks. That bit that I saw looked pretty cool from that one time. I was thinking. So then years go by, and then you're like, hey, I like Fantastic Four, and I'm like, oh, well, that's interesting. Maybe it's not so bad. Yeah, it wasn't.
Um. uh. Okay, this is a long one, folks. So grab your popcorn. So I watched this movie as a kid. My parents were very much, my dad especially, was a huge Marvel nut. He loved the Incredible Hulk. He literally had a green truck with a Hulk sticker on it, and he said that this was his. He made a joke and he said this was his second child. But he was really a Marvel guy. He still is. Like, not, he doesn't watch the MCU or anything. But he has watched through all the X-Men, and he had watched Fantastic Four. And he said that, like, because I asked him before this, I was like, what was your first thoughts? And all he said was, he thought it was weird because he thought they were, like, part of the X-Men. Like, that they would eventually meet the X-Men and then they would team up. And I said, they had that, like, okay, fun fact. Originally, they were going to have the X-Men and Fantastic Four eventually cross over. But what happened was, they rebooted it with Fan Four Stick, and it flopped. And so the X-Men and Fantastic Four crossover movie just never happened. So when I watched it as a kid, I loved it, and I remember watching it a lot in the car. And I genuinely remember loving it. When did what happen? Are you wondering if there's a sequel to Fantastic Four? This Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
Let me look at the image you're talking about. Hold on. Yes. Yeah, that's in...
Yeah,
Rise of the Silver Surfer. Yeah, and I watched that movie too, and I loved it. And then, whenever, like, the new rebooted gritty version came out, I remember my dad and I went to go watch it in theaters, and, like, we got, like, halfway through, and all I remember was that was the first time I ever heard my dad fall asleep in a movie theater. Because all I hear is just... like, next to me, and I'm like, Dad. He's like, ah. I was like, you're not even watching the movie, and he's like, yeah, fuck no, I'm not. He's like, I'm out. I'm tired of this. So, like, we did finish the movie. But, oh, what's up?
So you're like the only two people who saw Fan Four Stick in theaters.
Yeah, the other one being...
Your dad was like...
My dad was the second one.
Your dad was like, Fantastic Four. Your dad was like, Fantastic Four, more like Fantastic 4 out of 10.
More like Fantastic Snore. Anyways, so... Whenever I got older and they were talking about making a Fantastic Four movie in the modern day, I was like, okay, well, Marvel has the rights to the Fantastic Four. Maybe they would make something extremely good again. Or at the very least, something as good as the first Fantastic Four. Because I don't have the same amount of praise as I do for Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, as I do this movie. But yeah, I really enjoy Fantastic Four. I still do. It's a very much a close, personal movie. It reminds me a lot of the 2000s. And also, it felt like the last true good non-MCU movie. aside whatever X-Men was doing at the time. And before anybody says it, I don't really care for Ghost Rider. But, well, we could talk about that another time. Because, like, aside those, I can't imagine any other Marvel movie that... Oh, Deadpool, but I count that with X-Men. Anyways, okay. So enough about that. I think now we can move on to actually talking about the plot of this movie. What do we think of the plot? Sir, we'll start with you.
It's a pretty good plot. Most things come together nicely.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of like them hanging out most of the time, which remember that being a big point of contention in the Nostalgia Critics review. It's like, why aren't you guys crime fighting more often? Because they're not active crime fighters. This is before they decided to be superheroes.
I always thought that criticism was a little dumb. Because it's like, it's kind of like it's an origin story. And I was fine with that being their origin. Like, the only one who really cared about the attention was Johnny, not Sue. Sue didn't like it, Reed didn't like it, and definitely Ben didn't like it. And one of the biggest things about it was it's very much about the characters rather than them crime fighting, them fighting other people. Like, them trying to take down Annihilus or Victor Von Doom, because at the point Victor Von Doom was not a villain yet. I also remember a lot of people saying that they don't like the fact that the villain's name was Von Doom, and I'm like, that's an issue with the comics. That's his just actual name. Very unlucky, because he could have been a good guy, but...
It's a very stupid name, but to be fair, I love, like, just stupid on-the-nose campy shit.
Well, yeah, but
so I don't really care.
I guess that's another thing about the plot. It's very campy. It's very much more trying to be silly and goofy, because honestly... They are a little bit goofy. They're not like super serious all the time. Like, yeah, aside Reed and Sue, who are supposed to be serious scientists, which they both are. Like, the only ones who are like joking around is Johnny, and then Ben when Johnny fucks with him. It's like, oh yeah, you think that's funny? Fuck you. Like, I'm gonna fight you on that. And that's what made it so enjoyable. Because I think around here, like around like the 2000s. A certain superhero movie came out, and then everybody wanted to be just like that. Does anybody know what movie I'm talking about?
Spider-Man?
No, because Spider-Man was also campy. No, The Dark Knight.
The Dark Knight?
The Dark Knight. Like, I think Batman Begins came around this time.
2005, so
Good movie!
It'll be more so Batman Begins.
Yeah, Batman Begins.
It's funny, a lot of good movies end up having bad influence just because everybody else tries to copy it, like Star Wars and Shrek.
Yeah, but what made it even worse was the fact that Fantastic Four came out around the time where... Actually, I would probably contribute this more to, like, the first...
Came out, like, a month after Batman Begins.
Yeah. Yeah, but then you got movies like Punisher, Warzone. You had movies like Daredevil. Like, where more of them were trying to be serious and take themselves way more seriously. I would say, like, this would be more like them trying to parody the first Batman movie. Because the first Batman movie was extremely dark. Like, not extremely, but, like, was dark. Enough to where it's like, oh yeah, dark suits, dark backgrounds, spooky lighting, our characters murdering fuckers. Like, that's how this movie felt.
Yeah, dark enough where you're like, oh yeah, Tim Burton directed this.
Yeah. Like, but I don't like how every superhero movie, it feels like they were like, oh no, we gotta be dark and scary and spooky and woo. Like, I don't like that. I think it's really stupid to do.
I think a part of that is because of how over the top and campy Batman and Robin was, which turned a lot of people off.
And I get...
They're in the exact opposite extreme of it. Making them all dark and edgy.
Yeah, we gotta be serious. Which, I don't think they should all be serious. I mean, again, I can point to a lot of stupid, trying to be dark and edgy movies that came out in the 2000s. Blade Trinity was one of them.
Look, superheroes superheroes are just an inherently goofy concept. They're people running around in stupid outfits who have unnatural abilities.
Well, like it's more like the natural inabilities, and I think that's what made this movie so good was the fact that like like the ability to stretch your arms across a countertop or a whiteboard to solve equations. That's just so dumb. But they make it super like
Why did he even do that?
Like, wait, what do you mean? Like, how was he able to do that?
No, I mean, why would he even bother doing that since he literally can't see what he's writing because he didn't stretch his neck over?
Well, I mean, he just knows what he's
Or,
writing.
or God forbid, his eyes like a fucking snail. He just...
Gosh.
Oh my gosh.
He could. Like, that's the thing. Reed Richards, like, that's another thing about it is, like, it's all goofy. It's all supposed to be goofy. It's not supposed to be serious. And the movie does a great job where there is serious and more calm moments, like when Ben goes and sees his wife after the space mission, and she gets scared and screams. And you can see just how emotionally distraught that makes him. It breaks him to an extent. And then whenever it's on the bridge, whenever he sees that guy who's about to kill himself, he's like, hey man, look, I look like this. Life isn't worth, like, dying over.
You think you got problems?
You think you got
He's
problems?
like, bro, I'm a fucking rock.
Dude, I'm a rock. Like, and like that was like I love that scene because it's like, yeah, Ben has it rough, but he's not gonna up and quit. But what made him up and quit was whenever not up and quit, like made him really want to get turned back was when his wife or his fiance or whoever walked over with the ring and just threw it on the ground. Like that, I bet that did like a severe damage to you. Like, obviously.
And he couldn't even pick it up on his own.
Yeah, he had to have Reed pick it up. Okay, there is one line that I thought was so ill-timed, but it made it fucking work, was when Johnny just looks at Ben, like, after they save the people, and all he asks is, where are your ears? And it's like, it never gets answered. But, like, you just see Ben look at him like, what the fuck are you... Like, now you're gonna be an asshole? It's like, okay, sure.
No, I find it funny because Johnny is the asshole character, so him saying something out of place and out of pocket makes sense. Wait, shit, that's what I do. Fuck!
Yeah, oh my gosh, you're Johnny Storm, holy shit. You're Joni Storm.
Oh my god! I'm gonna go douse myself in gasoline and light myself on fire now.
You can just do it on your own. You're Johnny, right? Or you're Joni. You're Joni Storm. Anyways.
I like how the guy who was gonna kill himself actually like tries to run away out of fear.
Yeah.
Of Ben, because I guess he's like, clearly I inadvertently stopped him from killing himself.
Yeah. Also, I love whenever
I guess he realized. Oh, sorry.
Oh no!
I was gonna say, I guess he realized how much he actually doesn't want to die as soon as he saw Ben.
He saw him. He's like, oh my god, I actually don't have it that bad. Holy shit! Like, what the fuck is that? Like, And I think what made it even better was the fact that, like, after that, Ben goes out, and when they're all going out, like, to go talk to the press and stuff, like, it's Reed, Johnny, and Sue are up front, and then, like, I just look in the background, and there's a couple police officers, and all I see is, like, the thing slowly walking behind, and it cracks me. I don't know why that cracks me up so much. It's such a stupid scene. Because, like, it doesn't emphasize that. It emphasizes the fact that they're going to talk to the news reporter, but you see these cops are way more important than the thing, as you can tell. They're all in front of them, But anyways, I do like the plot of this movie being just an origin story. Because it obviously seemed like they wanted to do more than just one or two movies. Which, they wanted to do a third movie. Where, I believe, like, the original concept was they were going to bring back Galactus.
Franklin Richards.
Yeah.
From what you told me.
It was either that, like, they were going to do something like that, and they were going to also introduce an actual Galactus. Because Galactus does technically make an appearance in Rise of the Silver Surfer. But we'll talk about that.
Wait a minute, that's not Galactus. That's just a giant fart cloud.
No, I don't know what you're talking about. That's Galactus. We'll talk about that movie when we get to it. Along with the plot, I also love I love most of the, like, locations that they go to. Like, we'll obviously talk about the VFX and stuff later. But I think what made it look so good was the fact that, like, you're mostly around, like, space stuff throughout most of it. You're in a lab. You're, like, when you're not, it makes the other places look more organic versus, like, most of the places they go to, which is, like, they go to a lab or they go into space. And then when they come back to Earth, like, it looks more grounded and realistic, which I'm very glad they didn't try doing it where they're like, oh yeah, they live on, like, a different place. they live in a different place, not Earth, which I would not have liked. Sorry about the cough. Does anybody have anything else they want to say about the plot before we go to characters?
I like that they really drive home just how fucking awful it is for Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's genuine. It's really believable.
I think this is really Ben's movie more than is for any other member of the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Which I like that as well. I'd rather, like...
Yes, he's very... Sorry.
No, go ahead. You're good. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yes, he's very mad for most of the movie to, like, the point where it's like, if it weren't... Here's the thing. But it's completely understandable and justified if it were, like... If he were just mad like that for no reason, he wouldn't even be likable. But like, he's so beaten down by everything in the movie. I feel bad for him.
I will say, I love the reveal.
Yeah.
At first, like, when you first, like, after the... Because I bet, like, for most comic fans, when watching the movie, it's like, when the explosion happens... Johnny's like, hey, I'm sorry about, like, you know, the explosion. We had hired the best surgeons in the world to work on this, man. I don't know how you're going to react. And he's like, just give me the fucking mirror. And he's like, I don't think that's a good idea. He's like, just give it. And then, like, it's just him. He's not even a monster or anything. Which I think makes it even better for, like, when we actually see him transform. It's not a good process. It actually, you could tell it physically hurts him. Like, it's actually hurting him a lot. Where it's a painful transition from man to monster, basically. Also...
Bro turned into a rock. His internal organs are fucking solid! Mm-hmm. How does that even work? Does he have blood?
Yeah, no, he does. He apparently does have blood. But it's very hard to get into. Because it's rock.
What? I was thinking, would he, like, bleed? Would he bleed, like, fucking lava or something?
He bleeds pebbles. Like, instead. And I think...
He looks at a guy passing a kidney stone. You think you got it rough?
You think you got it rough? Hey, you should see what I'd piss out. It's, like, pretty bad. It's like a kidney stone every fucking day. Whole stream of them. I think what makes it even better is
you got it rough. Oops. I got a rock.
I got a rock. I think what makes it even better is the fact that...
No, I am the rock.
You think you got it? The kid, he's like, I got a rock. And it's just like, it pans over the bed, and he's like, you think you got it rough? He just
pulls a thing out of his Halloween bag.
I think another thing about the plot was also how most of, like, what happens, like, how they get their names is because Johnny Storm is, like, just going around.
Yeah, I really liked that. I thought it was funny.
I think what made it even better was, like, so what's his name? And he's like, what's that thing? And he's like, that's what it is, the thing. And Ben's just like, I'm killing him. Like, yeah, I probably would too.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah, it is really great. Like, it...
Okay, say what you want. You know what's funny? Okay, I'm just gonna plagiarize. I'm not plagiarizing, I'm giving credit. But Olivia and I had a similar thought looking at Olivia's Letterboxd review of this movie, where she said that, yes, the clobbering time backstory is really dumb, but at least it's not the end of Fan Four Stick.
I think what makes it even...
You mean at least it's not as bad as Fan Four Stick?
Not as stupid as Fan Four Stick.
It's fantastic.
Say that again?
It's clobbering time.
I think what makes it even better is, like, the fact that, like, like, yeah, it's not the best in the world, like how he got his catchphrase of all things, but at least it's something where it's like, yeah, it is a thing the thing says, but it's not like a, it's nothing like where they fully emphasize on it. And also when he says it at the end, I think that was like him fully embracing the superhero
Yeah, it's so
persona.
genuine rather than forced, like in Fantastic, where why would he repeat the catchphrase that his brother said to him before abusing him?
I don't know.
Like, what?
I
Actually,
just find it so funny that it's literally so everything to do with the name and like the catchphrase and stuff were all Johnny just being a
being a,
fucking dick.
yeah,
Like with the prototype thing action figure.
I love the fact that, like, along with that, the reason why he called Reed Richards fantastic was because it's like, what else can he stretch? He's like, oh, well, I don't tell. It's just like the fact that, like, he said that. I felt like Reed was like, hey, you know what? I actually got off with a pretty sick deal. I didn't even get insulted. I got told I got a long dick. Awesome. Like, yeah, Suits
The invisible girl.
girl. Even though I think her name is literally supposed to be the Invisible Woman, but that's fine. I'm it's a little nitpick.
They said earlier.
Yeah. Along with that, I also think the fact that, like, in the background we see how Victor Von Doom becomes a villain. I love how they name drop Latveria. Where it's like, why don't you just go back to Latveria? Which, mind you, Latveria
And
got.
get shipped to a
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
to like a ship going to Latveria at the end.
Mm-hmm. I think what made that even better is the fact that Latveria is literally a place in the comics where Victor Von Doom's father got killed in Latveria by an imposing monster. So I think what makes it even better is the fact that Victor Von Doom is basically, he lives in like a pretty luxurious life outside of just, oh yeah, he's a rich business guy, but he also has like connections with Reed and them. So it kind of makes it like a way more cooler threat than just, oh, he's just a generic bad guy that wants to do evil things. No, he actually at the very least has vitriolic hatred for Reed and Sue and Ben and Johnny, because not only is the fact that they went on that mission completely destroy his company, but Reed also stole his girl. Like,
And all the attention.
and all the attention. Like, obviously, like, he's not the most perfect thing.
I mean, he brought it upon himself. He brought it upon himself because his assistant literally tells him, "Dude, people think you're more humanized now that you've been in an accident with that scar," and he's just like, "Shh."
Shut the fuck up!
Victor, you dumbass.
I think what makes it even better is the fact that Victor is, like, not only is he supposed to be the main big bad, but he does come back and Rise of the Silver Surfer. Albeit for a dumb reason why he was brought back, but he was brought back. So it obviously seemed like they wanted to do more than just this movie, because everybody's biggest complaint is the fact that Julian McMahon kept his voice for Doctor Doom instead of having a deeper, darker voice and more imposing voice. Okay, do we have anything else we want to say about the plot, or are we ready to move on to the characters?
No, I think we've pretty much transitioned to characters
Alright.
at this point.
Transition. No, but I thought you were gonna say when you said that he comes back for a dumb reason. Imagine just the Silver Surfer comes down, sees the frozen Victor Von Doom, and is like, "Oh my God, one of my kind!"
One of me! I can save him!
Does that happen?
No. You'll see in the sequel if you want to watch it before we ever do an episode on it. Maybe that'll be like one of the next sequel episodes we'll do. We'll cover Rise of the Silver Surfer. Because it would be pretty cool if we did that. But, for now, let's talk about the characters. So, who shall we start with? Sir, I'll let you pick. Who do we start with first?
Let's see,
We got 4 wonderful options.
How about the awesome one, which my avatar is inspired by in the thumbnail?
Mm-hmm.
Johnny Storm.
Oh, Jonathan Storm. Which is... Roxy, do you want to start? Roxy... Or no, sir, you know what? Sir, you can start off. What do you like about Jonathan Storm? Captain America.
I just like how much of a likable asshole he is. Like, he's not too douchey. He's still, like, suave with the ladies, being all cool. Especially when he crashes in and the nurse just gets in with him. Like,
Yeah.
he's that charming of a guy.
Yeah?
And also, her name in the credits is literally Hot Nurse.
2000s.
Yep, that's a 2000s movie.
Yeah, we have crap like that. I love Johnny too. I don't think he's my favorite character in this movie. I do have a favorite. I won't reveal who it is until later. Don't look at the thumbnail. What do you
Or I think I already know who it is.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that later. Would you say that... Okay, Roxy, what do you have to say about Johnny?
He's a fucking dick. It's really funny.
Do you like him?
Yeah, it reminds me of, honestly, when Chris Evans played Lucas Lee.
In what movie?
In Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Oh yeah, that movie.
Although the irony is that Lucas Lee, despite being one of the villains of the movie, is actually nicer than Johnny.
Well, like Johnny, he's always meaning it playfully. He's never really intentionally being an asshole all the time. Like, he's either doing it because he thinks it would further it and it's a good thing, or because he's fully embraces it, versus, like, actually, you know, being like the others and being like, no, this is actually a really bad thing, Johnny. We don't know what can happen. He's like, no, come on.
To be fair, his superpower is really cool. So
I mean, I don't know. I think Reed probably was also like, these are cool, but I know the right thing to do. Get rid of it, because I mean, we're not heroes.
He's like, yo. He looks down. He's like, Engorgio.
He's like, he stretches out his nose and he's like, hey guys, look, I'm Pinocchio. It's like party tricks. Along with that, though, with Johnny, I would say he gets, like, the least amount of character development in this movie. Like...
He gets more development in Silver Surfer, actually.
Well, Silver Surfer wasn't in this movie. Oh, no! Okay, my bad. I thought you said he gets more development than Silver Surfer. No, you said in Silver Surfer. Yeah.
Surfer.
He definitely does.
Here he's just...
Yo, Johnny goes inside of the Silver Surfer. Sounds hot.
No. Go ahead. Golly. Yeah, so Johnny is a very cool character. I do like him. I do think that sometimes
he's a very hot character.
True. Trying to think what else to say. I think, like, also the fact that, like, he is like a hot shot, and like the first time we see him, he's driving in a car to the space site, and Ben is literally like, "Oh hell no, I am not working with him." And Reed's like, "Oh come on, Johnny. I mean, come on, Ben. He can't be that bad." He's like, well, "How many times have I told you to do something for me?" Like, I think he's like, he's like 4. Like, he's about to say 4.
5.
He's like 5, and he's like 5. I thought it was 4. He's like, well, this makes 5, and I think that cracks me up. Oh, I was going to bring this up. They very sparingly use the word fantastic in this movie, which I'm very glad they do.
Say that again?
Yep, true. They don't call themselves the Fantastic Four. I think they just say it. Like, we're the Fantastic Four. And, like, I like that more than fucking Fan Four Stick's dumbass explanation. At least there, you can see they embraced it because they are a team. And they are, you know, amazing at what they do.
You could even say they're fantastic.
Damn it. I was trying, say that again. I was trying so hard not to say it, because I was going to say it again, but I was like, I can't. Um, but yeah, Johnny and, like, just Johnny himself, he's a dick. What?
Johnny Bravo.
Johnny Bravo.
It's Johnny Bravo.
I would say
It's Johnny
Oh.
Johnny Bravo, the pride sin.
I will say that this movie also has a good, with Johnny, I think also the fact that he gets into an argument with Sue about being childish, and he's like, I'm not childish. It's like, yes, you are. You literally are. And also, I love how when he gets his powers, he's like at first it's like, yeah, it's the sled and stuff, but like when he's trying to show it, he's like, guys, he's like, no, I can do it, I promise. And they're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? It's like, you're just being an asshole. And then he like flicks on like light, and he's like, okay, I can't explain that, but we're gonna fix it. And then, you know, later on it's explained more. Alright. I guess we're done talking about Johnny. Roxy, who do you want to talk about now?
I mean, I think we should talk about Ben last, probably, since...
That's up to you. You get to pick.
I guess Sue, going in order of least focused to most focused?
I say that would be the most fair. Yeah, so Sue. What did we all think about Sue?
Yeah, she's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I like her relationship with Reed.
You do feel bad for her in the beginning because, like, she's obviously, like, does not like Victor in that way. But, like, the reason why she went with him is because he stuck by the morals, but she obviously still loves Johnny. And I like that they showed, like, the building.
Johnny!
Not Johnny. Oh my god,
What?
sorry. My bad. Reed. Whoops. Whoops. My bad. My
Yo,
bad.
I know this is an American movie, but come on.
Gosh. Oh, my bad, everybody. My bad. That was a flat out me moment right there. Flat out dumbass moment. With Reed.
Now we know what Caroline's search history looks like.
No. God, I wanted to make a joke like after that and say, no, I use incognito like a normal person. But no. I just Freudian slip. Anyways, what makes it even better?
Freudian slip?
I don't know, man. Woman, my bad. Didn't mean to misgender. I don't know. I'm just saying I fucked up. Anyways, with Sue. What?
I said I have to pee. God damn it.
Do you need it? Do you want to
I'm
take?
sorry.
Do you want me to pause the recording? And you can go pee real quick.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, I think so.
Okay. So we're talking about Sue.
Sweet potatoes.
We've returned. So Sue, the main female of the group, she's also really smart. Like, they don't really play into it, but she is smart. That's why she works at the same facility.
Her name reminds me.
What?
Her name reminds me of one of the Pac-Man ghosts.
Why? Is there one named
Because
Sue?
one of them's name's.
There's Blinky, Inky, Pinky, and Clyde.
I thought that was their nickname.
And then there's Sue and Miss.
Oh, okay. So Miss Pac-Man. The Miss Pac-Man cinematic universe. Or the Pac-Man cinematic universe. Okay.
Yo, smash her past Sue from Miss Pac-Man.
No.
Yeah.
I do have to say...
I like Sue. I like her relationship with Reed. The only thing I don't like is when she has to sneak by and, you know...
Yeah. I don't like it either, but that's like one of the
according
small ones.
to some of the trivia I found, they apparently did that after Jessica Alba signed on to the movie, and she didn't know about it until they started filming.
I know...
Oh, that's mean.
That's really mean. But from what I also heard about this, actually, I'm going to save it near the end when we get done talking about the character, because I do want to talk about the casting and how we feel about it after we get done talking about the characters. So let's keep talking about Sue, because I do have one thing I do have to say. I think she, as a character, I think she went through pretty good development in this movie, with her finding the love again for Reed, with her showing that love, and then the ending scene, and also the bridge scene where they're talking about getting into a relationship again, and the argument they had in the lab. It all feels really good. Like, it all feels really generic. I mean, not generic. I almost said generic. It feels really natural. I think they did a good job making it feel natural. Like, these are people who do love each other, but just one is too scared to say that they do, and that they were really nervous.
Yeah, Reed may be the smartest man in Marvel, but he's not very good at romance skills.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And I think that's what makes it so interesting, because he is so smart, but when it comes to, like, the simple things, the simple machinations, it's like, as in, like, love or friendship, he doesn't, like, know fully how to do it, because he factors in too many things. That's what makes the Maker happen, but we don't know who the Maker is yet, because the Maker doesn't exist in the MCU, but the Maker does exist in the comics. But what makes it so interesting is the fact that they made it to where not only is she interesting, like, is Sue interesting, I do like her powers. The fact that she has a force field and the ability to turn invisible, albeit you have to be in the specific outfit, which, by the way, I will say the fact that you have to wear the outfits makes sense, because they were also hit by the blast. I think that makes
Guys, this movie came out 1 year after The Incredibles, and therefore it ripped it off. I don't care about the fact that Incredibles was clearly inspired by Fantastic Four. Shut up.
I think Incredibles actually had some influence on this movie's script.
I think what makes
At least that's what
Oh,
New Rockstar said. Don't know if it's entirely true.
Alright, do we have anything else we want to say about Sue? She does get a lot more development in the sequel as well.
Just like her brother.
Yep. Oh, wait, no, I get to pick this one. Hell yeah. Shall we move on to Reed Richards, a.k.a. the smartest man alive? Because
Black Bolt can destroy you with just a single whisper or whatever.
Not Jim from The Office. Not Jim from The Office. No. Ion Gaffo.
Okay, you know what? They could totally make up for all of that if they have another universe, and like a joke universe where Steve Carell plays Ben.
Gosh.
And he's doing the Gru voice.
He'll kill you with only one word from his mouth. What mouth?
It's freeze ray time.
Okay, so I guess I'll kickstart this off real quick. Reed Richards in this movie is like damn near perfect. I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care about comics. I don't read. I'm dumb. I love Reed Richards in this movie. I think the fact that he would go to great lengths just to make sure that Ben is cured is, like, he said that he would work to his dying breath to make sure that they are fixed. That is something that, like, obviously Reed Richards would say. Like, even from the comics, he would say something like that. He would work tirelessly to save his friends. He would do anything to make sure his friends are okay. And I think what makes it even better is the fact that whenever we first see him, he's trying to rekindle an old friendship with Victor Von Doom, and trying to say, like, yes, this would, like, he's not saying it, he's not trying to do this science shit, which is something he's deeply invested in. He's not doing it for money, he's not doing it for power, he's doing it because he believes that this would be not only beneficial to society, but be beneficial to the science field as a whole. And I think that's what makes it so incredibly interesting. Because we're not just seeing, like, how Tony Stark is just doing this because, one, he wants revenge on the people who fucked him over, but also because he knows it'll look cool and it'll be awesome. It's not like with Bruce Banner where he's more timid and scared to do something. This is Reed Richards, who is doing things to benefit science almost to the maximum, almost putting his entire friends in danger. And we even see in this movie he does feel extremely bad for what happened, even working to the point where he almost gets his entire body destroyed because he cares about his friends.
Right, do you think?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Do you think Reed Richards can stretch himself to have a pair of tits?
No, because you would have to modify your body fully to do that. For him, it
Damn,
probably
that
be
sucks.
too hard.
Never mind. Reed's the worst character. He can't do that.
No, you don't get to. Anyways, along with that, I'm not going to spoil too much of my opinion on the casting, but I do think Ian Gifford does a pretty good job playing Reed Richards. Along with that, I will also bring up that this movie, like him explaining everything, it makes it sound all correct. Like he does a great job explaining everything to not only the characters around him, but to the audience, which is really good. I think what makes him even better is the fact of his relationship with Sue, which gets developed more as the movie progresses. And we see that he still does genuinely love Sue. Even in like the first scene where we see her, he's a little bit more timid and trying to hide his feelings. But in all reality, he still loves her. Hell, even like that line where they're out on the porch or the balcony, where like Ben is like, "Oh, go talk to her," and he's like, "Oh, come on, Ben, she's with Victor," and he's like, "Oh, whatever," and he's like, "Oh, come on, he's a very smart, well, intelligent guy. He's really great. He has like a lifelong longevity of a job," and he's like, "Well, then why don't you marry him?" It's like that scene cracked me up. They did it again. I think they did a good job with Mr. Fantastic. What do you all think?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Any
He's
standout
He
moments?
definitely showcases in this movie why he's so smart.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now that he has elastic powers and currently uses his brain to be more creative.
Yeah.
Whereas opposed if Von Doom would get them, he wouldn't do that much.
Yeah, I think he just.
Yeah, but I really didn't like the part where Reed went, "Hey, Von Doom, Johnny can destroy you with one fire from his hand."
Oh my god.
I think what makes here, you know what? Let's make a direct comparison. What makes the final climax of this movie better than the dumbass from Multiverse of Madness was the fact that he literally just Uno reversed his attack onto Victor Von Doom. He's like, "Hey, what happened?" Like, because Victor kidnaps.
What happens to
Reed.
metal? What happens to hot metal when it gets cold?
Yeah, it's like the same thing that happens to everything else.
Same thing that happens to everything
that.
else.
We knew that was coming. But, like, I love that they did that. Because it showed, like, yes, Reed is smart. But Reed is also subjected to make mistakes. And I would love... I'm hoping they do that in the new movie. But they do such a good job with how Reed is portrayed in this movie. That, honestly, I really wish that we had a movie... Like, another Fantastic Four movie where we are dedicated to Reed Richards. And maybe that's going to happen sooner than we expect. But I don't know. However,
Let's just hope he doesn't get turned into spaghetti this time.
True.
Reed Richards.
Yeah, no. I said true.
Oh yeah.
I guess along with that, shall we now get on to the main character? I would say the main character of this movie.
I like the part in Multiverse of Madness when when Reed was like, "Wanda, I understand. I have children too," and then Wanda went, "What children?"
No, okay. Before, I'm not gonna lie to you. I hate the fact that Multiverse of Madness brought in Reed Richards. So you know what? Let's clear out a little slot before we talk about Ben. The fact that Multiverse of Madness uses Reed Richards is never a bad idea. However, portraying Reed Richards is a very big deal, not only to me, but also to a lot of people who love the Fantastic Four. And yes, before anybody asks, I do believe in the comics. Fantastic, like Reed is part of the Illuminati. I could be wrong, but I think that is comic accurate. However, I think I would have been more mad if they didn't introduce a new Reed Richards and instead brought in this Reed Richards, and they had the exact same script plan out. But I don't think this makes this Reed any better. The main thing is not only the fact that Reed tells Wanda very important information, but also I have to ask, if Reed would have said that no, my kids won't have any, my kids won't doesn't have, I don't have a mom, or like he doesn't, his kids don't have a mom, like Sue doesn't exist, like lie or something, which Reed probably would in that situation because he's fucking smart. I hate how Multiverse of Madness did the Fantastic Four. Or sorry, Reed Richards. It's not the entire Fantastic Four because
it did the Fantastic One.
Yeah, like again, Reed Richards I believe is part of the Illuminati. Just him. Everybody else is kind of separated because the Illuminati only comes together every now and then. But then again, I don't get why you would just show Reed and there's no Invisible Woman at the fight with Thanos. There's no
Oh,
Ben.
I mean, she was there. You just didn't see her.
Oh, yeah, she's invisible. Yeah, she totally would be invisible if her fucking friend was dying. Yeah, totally. There wouldn't have been a Ben.
Yes, yeah, so what happened is at the beginning of the fight, Thanos, threw a rock or something, and then she got hit in the head, and she just stayed invisible, and her corpse stayed invisible.
Jesus.
Just like how the Invisible Man died in Monsters vs. Aliens. Right there in that very chair.
I'm just saying, it's very weird. Look, we could make an entire episode about Multiverse of Madness, and we could rip that movie to fucking shreds. Because that movie sucks.
That Reed was shredded into spaghetti.
Yeah, we shred it like a Reed to Scarlet Witch. Because, genuinely, what makes it even worse is the fact that there is a competent Reed Richards out there that has been technically portrayed correctly, while Reed was portrayed horribly in Multiverse of Madness. Again, I don't get how there was only one Fantastic Four member. Granted, I would say you probably picked probably one of the better ones. I mean, I bet if Johnny was there at the battle with Thanos, he probably would have got himself killed. Invisible Woman can only do so much, and the Thing would probably be broken into rock bits. At least with Mr. Fantastic, he has intelligence behind his back. I mean, not downgrading not downplaying the other members of the Fantastic Four. I'm just saying, for a fight against Thanos, it might have been smart not to bring the rest of them. I don't know. What I will say, fuck Multiverse of Madness for how they portrayed Reed Richards. That's where I'm getting at. Okay, let's talk about Ben. And Roxy, I'll let you start this off talking about Ben.
He's a rock.
Literally. No, I mean, come on.
Oh my god, he's a rock. He's just like me. That's crazy.
You're a rock?
So he's already clearly so he's already established even before the whole thing with the solar winds happens. He's established as just a guy who Reed and the other Fantastic Four don't really have a good relationship with.
Well, I mean, they do. Reed has a really good relationship with Ben.
Okay, he doesn't like Johnny, and he said that Reed has convinced him to do stuff he otherwise wouldn't have several times.
Yeah, but I think it was more the fact that he trusts Reed the entire time. That's the entire point of him being I agree to all this shit because I trust you, and that's what made the falling out so.
Oh yeah, he trusts Reed.
Yeah, because he always believes Reed is always trying to do the correct thing. But I do like how they kind of show him he has a normal life outside of this. He has a wife. He has a beautiful life back at home with said wife. And then, continue. Continue. Roxy.
And then he's the other Fantastic Four. Okay, so Sue and
Reed.
So Sue and Reed are yeah, they're a little wary of their powers. Johnny embraces them, Victor's like, ooh, I can be evil now. And and Ben's life just becomes fucking miserable. He's like a walking tourist attraction.
Yeah, he's a he's a he's a he's a he's the freak of the week, as he says. And I think that's so interesting that they did that.
I mean, I'm also a freak of the week.
For different reasons, of course. I was gonna make a joke, but I can't think of anything other than the obvious. You're a certified freak 7 days a week. What do you have to say about Ben, sir?
Yeah, his story is really tragic and it's really well told.
Agreed.
Like you buy into every aspect of what he's going through.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, he ends up finding someone new in the end, which is nice.
Yeah. Much to the confusion of Johnny in the next movie, which I think is hilarious. Because there's a line.
Oh yeah, I know that clip.
Yeah, we won't spoil it, but Roxy, I think you'll get a real kick out of that joke that Johnny makes at Ben.
It's like, yo, Ben, you're the extra freaky of the extra weaky. I don't know.
No, you'll see. I really think you'll get a good kick out of that.
That's actually the dumbest thing I've ever said.
All right. I love Ben. I think the costume looks really good. Like, I'm glad that it's actually, a rocky exterior and it's practical instead of
God, imagine if
really good practical.
And given the other special effects in this movie, it would not look good if it was CGI.
We'll talk about the VFX later. What do we think of the casting?
I'd say they're all pretty good. Chris Evans especially nails as Johnny.
It's weird how he played two Marvel characters. He played, I mean, I guess.
And then he played Luke. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, I know who you're gonna bring up.
And then he played Lucas Lee, who's an in-universe actor who plays like superheroes and stuff.
I think what makes it even better is the fact that this movie, like, okay, I was gonna bring this up since we're talking about the cast. Most of them had a pretty positive experience with the movie. Apparently, like, when the actors were coming out of, like, for the upcoming Fantastic Four, some of them were interviewed, and a lot of them brought up how they had a pretty good time and they really enjoyed it. Just really sucked that they didn't get the third movie they deserved, because there was a third one in development, but it never happened. But I just thought it was interesting, and I wonder, at any point, would they return for another Marvel movie? Probably not. Maybe one day we'll see.
Chris Evans is just doing.
Maybe as a cameo of sorts.
Chris Evans is just doing like that meme of like the puppet looking in a different direction because he's also in the MCU anyway.
I was gonna bring up.
Or was.
Yeah, he's not anymore. He turned into Joe
Oh
Biden.
God, with Robert Downey Jr. as Doctor Doom, they could totally be like, "Oh my God, guys, look, it's Chris Evans as Johnny Storm."
Anyhow, I will bring up one last thing with this. There is a theory, and this is just a theory. It's not been confirmed or anything. There's a lot of people, or not a lot of people. This is just a theory I heard, so not many people have talked about it. There might be in Gifford. Sorry if I fucked that up. And the actor and John Krasinski and the actor who played him in 2015 might appear in First Steps. And if you're wondering why,
Oh, really?
if you're wondering why I say this, it's because in the comics there is a Council of Reeds where there are multiple different universe variants.
Oh my God, it's the Council of Ricks!
That's where that joke comes from, Roxy. Get with the program. But in reality, if that does happen, that would be one of the best, worst decisions ever made. Because I would love to see these guys come back. I would love to see Ian Gavode come back. To be fair, I only really want to see him come back because the only other Reed Richards that I think would be hilarious to come back would be the 1990s version of Reed Richards. But I would not really be happy.
What about
Yo, when are we doing an
What
episode on
about-
Roger Corman Fantastic Four?
We could online.
what if we got the it's fantastic.
No. I would literally jump off a bridge. Anyways, okay, so we did forget to bring up
You
one.
got it rough. I watched Transformers.
Think you got it? You think you got it rough? I watched Multiverse of Madness and saw Reed Richards fucking dot. Anyways, shall we talk about one other character that we have seemingly forgot to bring up? Victor Von Doom.
Victor Von Doom.
And Lee is the postman.
Oh, Stanley as the postman. That is funny. He also does make an appearance.
Victor Von Diesel.
That is funny that you bring that up because Stan Lee does make an appearance in a lot of Marvel movies, and he does make an appearance in this movie as the
You
postman.
remember that in Guardians 2, remember?
Yeah,
It's like, anyway, the time I was a Federal Express man.
I think what would have been funny if he was like, "Oh wait, is that what he was referencing? I thought he was referencing."
Yeah, he was referencing that specifically.
I thought he was referencing the Tony Stank. Like,
Oh, that it could be that too.
I'm going to just believe
I'm
it.
sorry, the Tony State?
Yeah, he's like a package
Tony
for
Stank?
Tony. It's like I got a package here for Tony Stank. Like that was the joke. He mispronounced the name.
Yeah.
No, let's talk about Victor Von Doom. What do we all think about Victor Vonathan Doomith? What?
I know he's not accurate to the comics, but in the context of this movie, he works well for what he is here.
Agreed. What do you think, Roxy?
He's like, yo. He's like, yo, Von Doom Industries is pretty chill. You should, like, join it or something.
That's how he acts. What do you think about Von Doom, Roxy?
I think he works.
Not going to be making your. Hey, okay. Can we all just agree? He works better than most MCU villains.
Oh, I was gonna say that he was like Elon Musk.
Nah, at least Von Doom, you know what? He kind of is close to Elon Musk in the sense, ain't he? Only difference is he doesn't try playing politics. He gets frozen before he could do that. Anyways, I like Victor Von Doom. Again, yeah, he's not really close to the comic book source material, but for this movie, it kind of works. I like how they do establish that he does have a friendship with Reed, and like that's why Reed trusts him. Oh yeah, I was also gonna bring up the fact that like the Baxter Building, which is where Reed works, had almost been closed down multiple times. Like he had multiple eviction notices, which I thought was very interesting that they showed that. But it doesn't really it doesn't impact much. It just shows like they had a rough couple months. But yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. And I think that like sets the stage that that's the reason why they went to. That's the reason why they went to Von Doom, because they knew Von Doom would pay for it, and he did. Both, like actually got paid for being a dick, and then also paid for the trip. I think he's a pretty good villain. I don't think he's the best Marvel villain ever, but he is definitely a pretty good one. Like all in all, I mean, he works a lot better than.
I like how literally the first.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, I like how literally the first thing we see in the entire movie is them calling him out for being an egotist.
Yeah.
Yeah, typical Victor Von Doom to build a 30-foot statue of himself.
Mm-hmm. It's actual size too.
You know who else built a 30-foot statue of himself?
Along with that, there's not really any other characters that we have to talk about because I think that's pretty much it for characters. Man, we talked a while on characters. Uh, well,
What can you blame us? These are really good characters.
they are really good. Highly recommend if anybody hasn't seen it yet. Watch the movie just for these characters, even though we just spoiled a lot of it. Why don't you watch the movie before watching this episode? Gosh, you guys are crazy. Anyhow, let's now move on to the visual effects and the soundtrack. Let's start with the visual effects. What do we all think of the visual effects? We'll start with Roxy, because Roxy said something about the visual effects, and I want to know.
Though, okay, they mostly look all right, but the ones on Johnny look fucking terrible.
You know, it's funny that you say that, because in the 1994 version, they actually I believe they hand drawn Johnny's powers. So like he's animated when he's in this like flying form. I could be wrong about that.
Really?
But I think that is what they did with that. But I think
Bro, I like the part in Fantastic Four when Johnny says it's Johnny time,
No.
and Johnny.
What do we all think about Reed's hand? Whenever he like stretches it down.
It looks pretty. Okay, that one shot of him stretching it down and they close up on it looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Every other time he stretches, it looks good in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that like
Bro, Reed could stick his hand.
no. Anyways, I do have to say pretty much every other effect does look good. Like it looks fine. It's 2000s, you know, they didn't have like a really high expensive budget. This isn't going to be like the MCU. Well, I mean, I guess it could be akin to modern MCU, but it's not MCU level like budget. Sorry, I had to. It's way too easy. We're digging a lot at the MCU. I can't wait for people to be like, why don't you guys just cover the entire MCU saga? Like the Infinity Saga, the Multiverse Saga.
That would take too long.
Yeah, that's one take too long.
And then Caroline's gonna say, well, you know, 75% of it is revenge on Roxy for Charlie of the Chocolate Factory.
use it as my excuse. That most of it is just because I want my revenge. I just like, man, I'm like Victor Von Doom in that sense because, man, I just can't get over it. Can't let it go.
Like,
anyways.
Painful?
Fucking goob.
Of the word.
Goob levels of bullshit.
Oh,
bless
sorry
you.
to hear that.
You're good.
No, that was my sister in the back.
Okay, well, like, what do we think of the soundtrack then? Because, like, the visual effects, I think, still look pretty alright for the time. What do we think of the soundtrack?
It's so 2005.
Yeah, it's 2000. I like it when movies are just aggressively whatever time they came out, honestly. Yeah. Especially if they're campy. Yeah. I don't know, I like that sort of vibe.
Same.
Like, this whole movie's aura is mid-2000s, and I love it for that.
I think what makes it even better is, like, the fact it's, like... What was the song playing during, like, the montage where they were all going through the experiment, and it ends with Ben Grimm, like, in his sleep getting hit by, like, the whipped cream to the face, and he's like, Johnny! At the end. What song was playing during that?
I don't know.
I know I heard it a few times. It's a very popular 2005-ass song. But yeah, I mean, I think, like, the soundtrack works. Like, some of, like, the orchestral scores was alright, like, for the final fight scene. Like, it works.
Yeah, some of it reminded me of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's where...
It's going for that same level of camp.
You know what makes it even better is the fact that this movie had a certain member work on it. I don't know what he was specifically on it. Do you all want to know who that specific person was?
Who?
Kevin Feige. Does anybody know who that is?
Oh. Well, I know.
It's his origin story!
No! Yes! The director of the MCU himself was an active participant in working on this movie.
and also the villain of She-Hulk.
True. God, we will never talk about that shit. Anyways, yeah, no, Kevin Feige actually worked on this movie. I can't remember what specifically, but I think he helped work on it. And then he also helped work on the sequel. He worked on like a lot of non MCU related movies. He worked on Spider-Man. He worked on X-Men. So like, I mean, it's kind of funny to see him here because now we know what he would later go on to do. But yeah, I have to say it funny. It is funny to me. I guess along with that, do we have anything else we want to say about the score? I mean, there's nothing else really to say about the score or the VFX, right?
Yeah, not much, honestly.
Roxy? You have anything else you want to add? Meow? Oh.
Man, I mean, it was very nice of the people working on the movie to make the actress for Susan invisible when she had to take her clothes off. That was nice of them.
Very disrespectful. But, alright, well...
Yeah, no, that was nice. Did she actually have to undress all the way for those scenes, or
no? I bet
was it just a little bit?
I think it was just down to her bra and panties. But I think like when she.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. Okay, well now I think it's time that we talk about Fantastic Four: First Steps and what we think about it after watching this movie. I thought it would be nice to talk a little bit about what's coming in the future. So.
They killed the movie the moment they decided not to name it Forced Steps.
No.
Fantastic Forced Steps.
Ugh. What do you all think about First Steps trailer? Like, you know, compared.
It looks pretty good.
Because I mean, obviously, it's not going to be fair to be like compared to this movie that's completely finished when we don't even have this ultimate product out. But I just want to know: do you guys think this movie will be better than this one, or do you think it will be worse?
No, I think it'll be worse.
Really? Why do you think that, Roxy?
Because here's the thing. So this one already tried to set up a sequel, which it did. Apparently, it had a sequel. First Steps has the disadvantage of being tied to the MCU.
Yeah, but I don't think you know this. This is not set in the same universe as the MCU.
I assumed it was in the same multiverse.
I mean, yeah, but that would include everything. But yeah, I mean, I know what you're talking about. This movie, it's stated that you do not have. This is basically a movie you can watch without having any connection or preconceived notion of what happened in the MCU. This is basically.
Pog?
Yeah, they said like.
Why did I say Pog? Wait, what?
Yeah.
Why was that my response?
But yeah, they stated that this is a outside of the MCU, and they do say that this will be later. This might later turn into being the MCU Fantastic Four, which I mean, yes, it's going to be in the MCU, and yes, it will appear in Doomsday. But they said like this movie is supposed to be, rather than like trying to connect itself to the other MCUs, they set it outside of the MCU. So then they could tell a new story without having other superheroes exist and not have them pre-exist or whatever. This is a new.
Yeah, they could just tell their own story with Galactus being like, without being like, where's X character or Y character?
Yeah, like where's Spider-Man? It's like, oh, he's not in this universe. Okay, that makes sense. And I think that's what will set this movie to be better. I think this was what Marvel kind of needs. I think this movie is the Marvel movie that would fix a lot of the problems that I have with the MCU. Not every problem, because there's too many. But I think this movie might surpass Fantastic Four 2005. Not on like an opinion-based level where I love this movie a lot, to where like it has too much of an emotional connection. But I think creativity or the creativity of it will be where this movie shines and will be better. Because also, it's not really just an origin story movie. It's also supposed to be an experienced team. Like they're gonna have the opening, show what happens, then they're gonna kind of flash forward, and then we get the new story. Also, another thing I should bring up, I guess, with Fantastic Four First Steps, is it's not gonna be just 4 members of the team.
Herbie.
Nope.
Oh my god, Fantastic Five!
It will technically have 5 members of the family, not counting Herbie, because Herbie's multiple. There's multiple Herbies. No, it's already been confirmed. Franklin Richards is going to be in this movie. Sue is going to have Franklin Richards, which I think is very interesting because that's what Fantastic Four, I don't know what it would have been called, into the negative zone, I guess. But okay, any big opinions about First Steps before I give my opinions? Any of you have any big opinions? Like, what do you think of the casting?
Casting looks good.
What do you think,
The
Roxy?
effects look
Oh,
good.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
I like the futuristic 60s setting they're going with. It's unique for the MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, Galactus looks cool, and he isn't a giant fart cloud this time.
Roxy, sir, you both have watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, right?
Yes.
Do you know
I've seen it, but it was a while ago.
Do you know the Ravenger who took over the Ravengers? Like the one Ravenger who used to team up with Yondu?
Taserface?
No, the other, like the one who took his took the Mohawk.
It's Ben.
Oh,
I forgot his name.
Mr. White Yondu, yes.
That actor will be playing Galactus.
Wow.
Yeah, Ralph Ingson is his actual name. He will be playing Galactus in this movie. And believe it or not, I didn't even think of that character until I made my Fantastic Four Will Suck video, which I'll cover my new stance on it now. Because at the time, I'm not gonna lie to you all. When this movie was coming out and we didn't even know the fucking title of the movie, I thought this movie would suck. But now my opinion's changed. But I'll go over that later. He also plays Clive in Final Fantasy 16. So that's how I knew of him. Or no, he didn't play Clive. He played someone else. I think he played Sid in that game. Which I think makes it even more perfect, because he does have a very deep voice. So I think Ralph Ingson playing Galactus will be really cool. So, there's also another controversy with this movie, though, that a lot of people do not like. Any of you want to take a guess? No. Silver Surfer's a woman? A woman? Ah, women don't surf.
Bro, that's awesome. I wonder if she has silver jiggle physics.
Oh my god.
Gosh. The actor who is playing Silver Surfer, by the way, if anybody knows his name, is... Let me look it up. Julia Garner will be set to play Silver Surfer. Does anybody know who Jennifer Gardner is? Or Julia Gardner is? She played in The Wolfman, Ozark, Weapons, Apartment, Sin City, A Dame to Kill. She played in a lot of live action movies. So anyways, I guess I will, real quick, I think this movie will be fantastic. At least I am cautious.
Say that again?
At least I'm cautious.
Say that again?
I will. It's going to be fantastic. Okay,
Okay.
real quick, recap. I used to think that this movie was going to suck. Mostly because Galactus was announced to be the main villain. And I was like, no, Galactus shouldn't be the main villain. It's too big of a threat. He should be a Saga level threat. Ah, that was a stupid take to have. Because someone brought up how Galactus, like, is mostly just a planet eater. Like, that's it. So, I kind of take it back. I don't think this movie will suck. I would rather Von Doom be in this movie, by the way. Which I guess we should also bring up, in case you all somehow missed it. Since Robert Downey Jr. is coming back as Victor Von Doom and will be causing a mortgage payment to fucking put into the movie, he will not be appearing in First Steps. At the very least, not to anybody's knowledge, he hasn't been confirmed to be in it. So I don't think Fantastic Four First Steps will be in, or will have a Victor Von Doom cameo, which really sucks because this movie had Victor Von Doom play a pretty big role into how they got their powers. I want to know, how do you all feel about that? About Victor Von Doom now being played by Robert Downey Jr. Do you all think he could pull it off?
Fuck you. No, you cast him because everybody likes Iron Man and he's not in these movies anymore. Shut up! Don't bring him back.
Damn.
Don't bring him back.
I mean, I'm somewhat optimistic, but at the same time, it kind of reeks of desperation.
I agree. I've been very much I've been very confused and conflicted. Oh, go ahead, Roxy.
It has the same energy as whenever you see people posting clips from modern SpongeBob episodes and they have like one-off characters from season 2.
Yeah. Guys,
Nosferatu and Chocolate with Nuts Old Woman come back.
and Bubble Bass.
Oh my god, guys, it's Kevin the Sea Cucumber! I know who he is!
Yeah.
OMG, I clapped!
It really does reek of desperation.
People do you think still don't...
What?
Sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
How many people do you think have seen... How many people do you think have even seen that episode and still don't know that sea cucumbers are an actual animal?
It's crazy. Not only that, though, I feel like... Oh, yeah. So you know how in this movie, Reed Richards has a pretty deep... or at the very least, a pretty good connection with Victor Von Doom? Like, they are, at the very least... Like, they went to college together, and they both studied science together. You know, we all know that, right?
Right.
Apparently Victor Von Doom will not have the same relationship with Reed Richards as he does in this movie. Instead, it's going to be like Iron Man to Thanos. Meaning, Victor Von Doom will not have a deep connection with how badly Reed would how bad Doom would betray him. Which I think is beyond stupid. Why in the world are you just trying to rekindle what made Infinity War good by having Fantastic Four First Steps come out months before, a year before, Doomsday comes out? I think it's really dumb that they're not going to give them a deep connection or friendship. And I blame this all on the fact that they just brought in Robert Downey Jr. to play a character that everybody wants to see on the big screen portrayed, quote-unquote, correctly. It's infuriating. It's beyond infuriating. I mean, does anybody agree with this, or is it just me?
Oh, no, I understand.
I've just sort of zoned out because I don't want to see Robert Doomy Doomier. I don't fucking
Dr.
care.
Doolittle Jr.
Dr. Doom Guy Jr. I'm very concerned on how good this movie will be. I'm very much way more open to this movie being good. And I do plan to make a video. I kind of want... Honestly, okay, hold on. I kind of wish we would all go see it and then make like a small episode of the podcast about it. But I know we're not all in the availability to go out and watch a movie. Like, especially a Marvel movie like that. Would you be willing to do that, any of you? Go watch
Yes.
Fantastic Four First Steps, and then we could do just like a small one-off episode about it. Like, it wouldn't be like a main episode. It would just be like our first impressions of it, and then we could maybe one day come back and actually talk about it. Sir, you seem intrigued by the idea. What about you, Roxy?
I mean, I'm intrigued by the idea, but I don't know if I don't think I'd be available to do that.
Would you try?
I could.
Honestly, well, I shouldn't ask that until after the episode. Because I was going to say, like, how far is your movie theater from you? But I'm guessing it's pretty far. Anyways,
I don't know the driver's like yet.
That's true. Maybe your dad would want to go watch it. It's a Marvel movie. And
My dad would probably be like, "The game's so reserved for kids! No!"
Alright, well... Okay, so that's our thoughts and opinions on First Steps, or expectations for First Steps.
Now for the final score on 2005, I think.
Yep, we will start...
That's where we are, right?
Yep, we are at the final ranking, or our ranking for Fantastic Four 2005. We'll start with Sirsplaysalot, then Roxy, then me. Sirsplaysalot, kick us off like a quarterback.
I mean, it's no masterpiece, but I still had a pretty fun time with it. Mostly good effects, likable characters, a really good, well-rounded story, and yeah, I gave it 3.5 stars, which is the equivalent of a 7 out of 10.
Nice. Roxy?
I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Really?
That's pretty good. Although you would expect, given my upbringing, that I would only consider a 10 out of 10 good, but that's not true.
Yeah. Also, you gave X-Men a pretty high score as well, I believe. You gave X-Men a pretty high score. Hey, you know, to be fair, out of the 2 Marvel movies we have talked about, they were pretty fucking good. I really hope nothing bad happens in the future.
You're gonna have us watch Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, totally. Okay. And
I heard what you said when I was in the bathroom. I could hear you. I could hear you.
Anyways,
Oh no.
I would honestly, if it wasn't because I don't want to be rude on the podcast and give this movie, because I love this movie with all my heart. My comfort movie, the movie I would never, ever want to be ripped away from my life because I love it so much. I would give this movie, just for pure nostalgia alone, and for just how good of an actual movie it is, along with the fact I think it still looks great. I can still rewatch it. You know what? Fuck it. I gave Roger Rabbit a 10 out of 10. This is a 10 out of 10. This is a fantastic fucking movie. It has some of the same problems.
Say that
again.
Yeah. Actually, the only problems I have with it are the same problems I have with Roger Rabbit, and it's literally just the visual effects. And that's it. And you know what? The visual effects don't even look that bad to me. So you know what? I think I can give this movie a 10 out of 10. This movie's great. I dare say it's fantastic. Fantastic. Fantastic Four. Too bad the sequel isn't as good.
Okay, do you really think that the Johnny Storm VFX look good though?
Yeah. Because it does look like how it should. Looks exactly how it does in the comics. The flame effects look a little weird and it's a little too bright. But I think he looks fine. Personally, like, here's the thing, I can see the chroma key on the VFX of the animation for Roger Rabbit, and I can see the flat problems with this movie. but it doesn't derive my experience with it. So that's why I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. Because it's so good.
Yeah, I don't think special effects not being good is really an issue.
Yeah, especially with a movie that came out years ago with a low budget. Well, relatively
Yeah, almost
low budget.
20 years ago. Or
It's
exactly 20 years ago,
Depending
given
on
when
when-
this episode's going to drop.
Yep. And hopefully another video will drop around the same time. Who knows? Okay, gang. Well, welcome back to more Mario Kart. Let's get to the knockout tour. Next time on Vulture Culture Podcast. Jeez, okay, we'll drop. We got a pretty big list. Next week's episode will be on the basically like F-Zero.
Stranger Things Season 2.
Hope we can do it. Yep. Our next sequel episode. Which I'm pretty excited for. Given the fact that it is the second season of a show I'm really enjoying. Right. Okay. Then the next episode, so we gotta be higher than after 20. After this will be Roxy's pick for episode 20. I think we can do Roxy.
I don't remember what we're talking about off the top of my head.
What's the next episode of the Vulture Culture podcast? The one you picked.
Oh yeah. I get that. I just don't. I don't have it memorized.
Fictional Crushes.
Damn, Roxy.
That one is either going to be our very best or very worst episode.
Well, it's definitely going to be the one that I enjoy making the most.
Oh yeah, I bet. Golly. Then, episode 21, we will have our very first guest on the podcast.
Second
guest. Sorry, guy.
The fucking guy is just sitting in the corner.
Yeah, our very first guest, not you. Our second guest will be Pantherino, who will be joining us for an episode on Danganronpa, the video game. The funny haha bear.
Whoa!
The funny haha bear killing video game. Panther will be joining us for that one.
The first one, thankfully, not Ultra the Spare Girls.
Yeah, we're only talking about Danganronpa 1. Maybe one day we'll go back and talk about Danganronpa 2. But I feel like if we do that, we have to talk about PvP 2, so that the guy doesn't fucking murder us. Then, episode 23.
We can all cosplay as the different time periods in the thumbnail.
Did you say 23, not 22?
Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to skip it. 22! Sir picked this one, so I'll let Sir say it.
Shantae, half genie hero.
Oh yeah. Showtime. That's Metal Gear. No, that's Danganronpa V3.
Oh my god, guys, it's
will be ready to go.
Sexually harassed Moxie.
Along with that, episode 23, and another Roxy pick. The music's really good, I'm not gonna lie. I think I've probably already brought it up. Roxy, do you know what episode 23 will be?
I think at this point you should know that you have to say it for me.
Rick and Morty. I sound like I've only watched like a little bit of Rick and Morty. Wait, is season 1 the one where Tom Kenny rapes Morty? Or tries to?
That's in season 1, yes.
Okay,
that is
okay,
in
you know.
season 1.
So like I have watched a little bit of season 1 because I've seen that clip. Just what I have. Why is he so weird?
That's fucking SpongeBob, dude. I mean, it's kind of like how what I just said, where I said that the voice actor for Shantae played Veronica in Hell of a Boss, who sexually assaulted Moxie.
The next one will be our very first album review picked out by Sirsplaysalot. The album titled after Van Halen, made by Van Halen. How many times?
Their debut album.
Yeah, their
named
debut
after
album.
themselves.
I'm very interested to listen to it because this is like the first audio-based episode. So I don't know what I'm going to do for gameplay. I've made a joke saying Guitar Hero, but I don't think it would be Guitar Hero. might be something.
Night in the
I do
Woods.
have an idea of what we're
Chapter
gonna
3.
like talk about in it. Like, we're gonna talk about each song individually, then rank them all at the end.
Oh, you know what? That's a great idea. That's actually a really good idea. I'll make sure to write that down for the timestamps. And then,
And to find a tier list of songs in this album,
and then lastly,
or make one.
episode 25. The self, the very important episode 25. That still doesn't.
That's like 5 squared. Whoa.
True. Hello, Moo cows. Yeah, I don't know.
It's still secretive on that one. That's okay.
I'm still very secretive. I'm scared to come out about it. Well, cause like, I don't want to announce it too early. So maybe I want to wait until like the very last episode till everybody knows. Alright, everybody heard about the bird, about the bird. No, okay. Fine.
Oh my god, we're doing Family Guy Season 7. I don't know why we skipped 2 through 6, but okay.
If when that song plays, the episode
Yes,
where
that's
Jesus
in
Christ,
Season 7, Episode 2.
where Jesus.
And by the way, yeah, the plot of the episode is that
No, 'cause that was my
Peter
first Family
meets
Guy
up with
episode.
Jesus.
Yeah. Jesus.
And literally the next episode, Brian is revealed to be an atheist, even though he literally just talked to fucking Jesus in the previous episode.
You're here. Just spread the word. The very big word. What word?
It's like Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
Like
I don't
Indiana
believe in
Jones said he
magic.
doesn't believe in magic.
Motherfucker! Then you literally, like, fucking reincite a cantation.
Yes. Okay. It would be one thing if he just saw the ritual from a distance, but he literally said it and turned the stones on.
Motherfucker literally got mind controlled by a sacred liquid. The blood of Kali.
He got tortured with voodoo.
He met aliens. Or sorry, my bad, interdimensional beings. Come on, man, you can't tell me.
That didn't happen. That didn't happen yet.
Well, no, I mean, I'm talking about Dial of Destiny, not Temple of Doom.
No, I just mean because him saying he doesn't believe in magic happens in Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is the first movie, but since Temple of Doom is a prequel, we can still.
Yeah, no, I was mentioning Dial of Destiny because that's where it doesn't make any fucking sense, and how he doesn't believe in magic, even after 5 movies worth of adventures or 4 movies.
It's how hard you believe it. Fucking. Bro, does that mean that if I really believe in Superman, he'll show up and save the day?
Oh yeah. Weirdly enough, I have in my drawer.
Sorry for that.
Oh, I didn't hear anything.
You have to wrap this up.
I didn't hear anything. Did you, Roxy?
Yo, I can read the Superman comics and be like, yo, this means Superman is real.
You know what's funny? I have physical copies of. What's up? Oh, I'll pause it. Okay. All right, let's actually wrap this up. You're taking too long. Okay. That is it for this episode of the Vulture Culture Podcast. Thank you all for listening, watching, or whatever you do during these episodes. Stay tuned for next week when we talk about Stranger Things Season 2. And hopefully you all have a nice day, weekend, or whatever. Sorry we moved the episodes of the podcast to every Wednesday instead of every Saturday and Friday. If you want to follow us on anything, you can go down to the link below. You can follow, like most of us, we have links in the bio. If you skipped around a lot or you watch the full thing, we very much appreciate it. Please subscribe and listen to us on YouTube Music, which, by the way, we have a podcast playlist for that. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all in the next episode of the Vulture Culture Podcast. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yo, goodbye Volcano High reference?
No, shut the fuck